everybody, this is Michelle with Creative Operation and Country Craft Creations. We're back today for another tutorial, and this is using Willow Creek Highlands, the paper collection by Photoplay that I absolutely adore. It's just a gorgeous collection, and I wanted to do something with it kind of based on the last tutorial I did with it. I did a pop-up waterfall album, and I was playing with the design and thinking about different ways that we could use it, and I came up with another idea. So it's kind of a play off of that one. I will link the tutorial down below so you can see it, but it's based off of the same premise. So I think you're going to like it. So I started with this. This is my prototype. I'm going to show you this in a second. We'll walk through this, I'll show you this, and then we're going to dive right into the tutorial. So I hope you like it. This one is focusing kind of on the chickens. I was trying to do that. Now, I didn't have a lot of paper left over for this. It's really beautiful. It is kind of thick, and as you put photos in it, it will get thicker. So I did create a belly band, and it's a little bit loose at this time, but once you get photos and stuff in it, it's going to fill right out and be really good. So here is the front. So I did the belly band. Again, we're focusing on the chickens this time, and I used this cut apart. I just cut it down a little bit and added that to the front of the belly band. Use the stickers here and here. This came on the sticker sheet that came with my design team package. Really pretty little border. So I thought that made the front of it really pretty. On the back, on the belly band, I used this die cut that says, "Happiness is felt by making other people loved." I thought that was really pretty. And then on the back, I added the sticker tag here and the little sticker above, and then these are all stickers as well. So I thought that was kind of a pretty way to decorate the back. Now the front, once you take the belly band off, is decorated like this. Now this is the negative that we cut out of the frame that's going to be inside this card. So I'll show you that in a second. But it had a die cut that had kind of the same shape at the top and the bottom. So I thought that would be a really pretty frame to put on there. So it says, "Love makes a house a home." And then down here, "Welcome to our coop," which I thought was pretty perfect for the chicken theme. So, method to my madness. Now, when you open this up, again, it's just one page, and it could be a card, and you can see it from the top. There is the pop-up. So I did it horizontally this time, and I did it so that it was a pocket on either side. Now, again, I didn't have a lot of scraps left over, so I was trying to work with what I had, and you'll see what I ended up doing with some things in the tutorial. I'll show you how I kind of filled it out. But this is it. So you have photo opportunities in here, but then you also have all these tags that you're able to put in the pockets behind, and it closes really nice. So, and I love the pop-up aspect. So you can see, I'm going to kind of move it around. I did put a sticker here that says, "Home is where your heart is." And then there's another sticker over here that says, "Embrace each day as a new beginning." And then I added stickers to the frame here. This says, "Love you like biscuits and gravy," which, you guys, that's my very favorite breakfast of all time. Biscuits and gravy. Gimme it every day. I'll eat it. It's so good. Used a little die cut here that says "Family." Here's a sticker that says "Gather," and it just happened to be the perfect width for the bottom of that frame. And then I used a sticker here. It says, "Our house is a very, very fine house." And I used the talc dispenser that is available at Country Craft Creations so that it wouldn't be sticky behind and stick to everything. And then I added the little tab that says "Friends" here. So you've got this really nice 3D kind of effect going on. And when you get a picture behind there, it's going to look really cool. So when you take the tags out, let me just remove those so you can see what it looks like. It does hold quite a few. I used the wood paper on the frame and then on the back here because that's what I had pretty much left available. Put the borders here because they kind of, to me, almost look like kitchen curtains. Banner sticker here, and then a sticker here. And then in each pocket, we have a variety of things. So this was one of the die cuts that came with the collection, has the chickens on it. So I backed it on a little piece of the cardstock that was left over. This is the aqua tint, my colors, that came in my design team package. Here is one of the 3x4 cut aparts. I just did my edge punch on there and added the mat to it, and then on the back I put a sticker that says "Rise and Shine." Here is a 4x4 cut apart. I added a button sticker here and a heart sticker here. It says "Home Sweet Home," and then on the back I left it plain. And then this is one of the tags that I created using a die that I got from Heartfelt Creations. I'll show you that in the tutorial here. And I put the sticker here and then the sticker with gratitude up there. I had very little red twine left over, so I had enough to tie a tie in each one of the tags. And then I'm going to talk you through how to make your own hole reinforcers in the tutorial. So here, I'll tell you why I did this in the tutorial, so stay tuned. I don't want to give it all away. You guys have to watch it so you can get all the info. How's that? This is one of the die cuts I thought would be really cute as a journaling card, so I put that there with my chicken stickers. So these all tuck nicely right in this pocket, if I can get my fingers to work here, and looks really cute. It just looks like it's loaded. It's a loaded card. Over here, again, one of the die cuts that I just used the extra aqua tint paper for, another cut apart. It says cherish. On the back, there was a little bee sticker that I put there. And then here is the welcome. And it has all the bees and the flowers. Isn't that pretty? And then I put the little lamb back here because I just had to use him. He's so cute. And then this tag here says gather. And then I put the truck sticker here. And then I put the boots with the flowers back here. Lots of room for pictures and photos. I thought this would be a fun kind of card / album that you could give as a gift. Mother's Day is coming up, so this would be kind of a really cool thing to do for grandma. Put pictures of the grandkids in here, maybe some pictures back here, and just really a cute card idea. Okay, and then in the tutorial, I also will tell you, I did make an envelope. Now, obviously, you can't mail this. You'd have to put it in another type of envelope to mail it, you know, packaging, whatever. But I ran out of enough cardstock, so I grabbed a coffee brown felt from Heartfelt Creations. It's the artisan cardstock. Piece of the back pattern paper. I'm getting tongue-tied. Yellow cardstock that I had left over, one of the cut aparts, and then I used the sticker that says living the sweet life. And then on the back, I put the tractor here and then a little piece of ribbon that I had left over, and I added magnets. So to hide the magnets, I used 2 of the die cuts, one here and then one here. And then on this one, this was a tag, and I put the little button sticker there. And when you package up your card with your little belly band, it'll fit right in there and close up and be nice and secure. So it makes a nice presentation too. That glitter everywhere. And I haven't used glitter in like days, so I don't know where this is coming from. So that is, that's going to be the tutorial. Now let me show you real quick my prototype just because it turned out so cool. So this is Bloom Where You're Planted. So this is the prototype that I made, and I was playing with it. I was trying to use, you know, kind of roughly the same amount of papers just to kind of see where what I could do with this and work out the design. It worked really good. So again, another belly band. This is the negative from the cutouts that I used with one of the die cuts there. And I didn't really decorate the front or the back, but there's bee paper here. And then I did use the gold glamour cardstock on this one, and it turned out really pretty. So I did that on the back, and then in the inside, this is what this one looks like. So this one has, I just did 2 tags because I was playing with the design and kept it pretty simple here. But again, I made a hole reinforcement, used a little seam binding here and a little journal card here. And then I used the photo corners from the same die set that I got the tags from, and I just did photo corners on this one. Look how pretty this is. So a couple little cut aparts, and you've got a really pretty gift here as well. So I just wanted to show you this. This was my prototype, and it actually worked out really good. I didn't really have to alter anything to this one. So that's what I wanted to show you. So we're going to dive right into the tutorial after this, and I will show you how to make this beautiful project. I will tell you about the envelope and how I make that, and then yeah, you guys can make some for your own. So it doesn't take a whole lot of paper. Like I said, this one was made out of the scraps that I had left over, and just tried to see what I could do with it. So thanks for watching, and I'll see you in just a second. We'll get started. Let's get started with a tutorial. Now there's a couple of things that I've already done during this tutorial just to get things ready and try to make it as quick as possible, but I'm going to talk you all through it. And again, I'm going to refer you to my first tutorial using Willow Creek Highlands because I'm going to use the same techniques that I used in that one to make this particular pop-up card and do the die cuts. I just used a little bit different die cut for this one because the size is different. And instead of it being vertical, it's going to be more horizontal. So I was trying, because I didn't have a whole lot of pattern paper left over, I was trying to see what I could do with what I had. So this is what I came up with. It's going to be a really great card. I think you're going to like it. The first thing you're going to want to do is grab a 12 by 8 piece of cardstock, and I'm using white artisan cardstock. You'll put the 12 in the scoreboard, and you're going to score it at 6. So it's going to be a large card, but I'm meaning for this to be a card and a mini album kind of all in one. So it's going to be fairly big. So it's going to be 6 by 8 when we're done with it. Okay, so we put it in the scoreboard at 12. We scored down at 6. That's going to fold it in half. And then I did use some of the leftover cardstock that was My Colors Wildflower Honey, and I cut that at 5 3/4 wide by 7 3/4 tall, and then I did the pattern paper at 5 1/2 by 7 1/2. Okay, so that's how I covered the outside of this card. All right, so now we're going to work on the inside a little bit. Now, because I didn't have a lot of pattern paper, I am going to have to kind of piecemeal a little bit together. So the mechanism is going to cover the bottom here. So I didn't need, thankfully, a whole lot of pattern paper to go on the inside because this part's going to actually be covered up. So I did have a strip of this wood grain pattern paper left over, and I think, yeah, well, maybe not. Oh yeah, it was a strip kind of like this. Anyway, so I did have some wood grain paper that I was able to kind of piece together, but then you can see it's not quite as wide as I need it to be. And I do need to cover this part here. So I decided to go ahead and make like a border here. And my kind of thought was like, you know, country kitchen curtain kind of thing. So I was thinking that. So we're going to go ahead and glue those on now. If you're making this card and you want to use just a full-size sheet of paper like I did in my prototype, then just go ahead and lay that down now. The mechanism is going to glue right on top of it, okay? All right, and then I'm just going to glue these down. I did use a punch from my stash to make this. I'll show it to you. It's an EK Success punch that I have had in my stash for a long time. So you can use any punch you want for your edging. You could use decorative scissors if you have those. And if you're like me, you have every single one that you've ever owned in your entire life. Until they break, they stay in my drawer. So this is the one I used, and it does this really nice punch. And again, it's EK Success. I have no idea how long I've had it, but I've had it forever. It also does a little bit of embossing too if you punch it hard enough. But I did not punch it hard enough to get that embossing in there. My hands hurt right now. I have another tutorial coming out pretty soon, and I made a bunch of, or not tutorial, but like a share. I made a bunch of bead dangles for the craft fair that I have coming up, and my hands are sore. My hands are sore from all of the jump rings. Oh my gosh. All right, so the inside of the card is done. So again, if you're going to put pattern paper through the whole thing, just cut it at 5 7/8 by 7 7/8 and cover it. But because I had to piece it together with the minimal scraps that I had, that's what I'm going to do. So front, back, and then the inside. So now let's look at the mechanism. I'm going to put this off to the side for a second. The mechanism, I'm doing a little bit differently in that you're going to have two pieces of paper for the front, and then the back part of the mechanism is actually going to have the tabs that attach and the sides. So in the original tutorial, this piece was all in one and actually had the sides and the tab that attached to it. And then on this one, I'm going to do it a little bit different. So We start off with 2 pieces of cardstock, and these measure 5 by 4, okay? I covered them with my pattern paper, and then I used one of the dies that I had from my stash that fit within that, you know, piece of paper. So you have to put the pattern paper on first. The pattern paper measures 4 7/8 by 3 7/8. And then I centered this and I ran it through my die machine. So you'll need 2 of those, one for each side, okay? Since I demonstrated how to do that in the original video, I'm not going to do it on this one, but it's the same exact technique. And I'm looking, you see I'm turning these things. They have writing, very faint writing, and I want to make sure they're right side up. So I'm trying to lay them down as we're going to use them, okay? So again, 4 by 5 piece of cardstock. Put your pattern paper on, run it through your die machine so you get your nice frame, okay? Then you are going to need 2 pieces of cardstock that are 7 7.5 by 5, all right? You're going to put these in your scoreboard, and you're going to score them both with the 7.5 at the top. You're going to score at half, 1 1/4, 6 1/4, and 7. Okay, that's all you're going to do. Then we're going to do our usual little, you know, fold and burnish and all that stuff. Let me grab my, where are my little scissors? Oh, my little scissors. Okay. We're going to miter the 1/2 inch like so. And this will make sense here in just a second. If you followed my first tutorial, the attachments were actually attached to a bigger page because the project was bigger, but this way is a little bit different, but the same concept, okay? So when you fold and burnish, so this will become the side of the mechanism, and then the little attachments to attach to the, ooh, what did I do? Oh, that's what I did. Oh, good gravy. These are supposed to be 4 inches. All right, let's fix that. Do-over. It's early. Okay, so your pocket, or your back, well, this is actually going to become a pocket. It's going to become the sides of the mechanism, and then these 2 will attach to the front, okay? So this will end up being glued like so. Now, they do need to be 7.5 by 4, not 5, 4. So I put a bunch of disclaimers in there. I'm sorry about that. So anyway, that's how that's going to be. Now, I went ahead and punched a little notch in these with my envelope punch board. So I'm going to line this up so that that side score is at 2.5. All right, so that'll be the middle of the 5-inch panel, and punch. I'm going to do that to both of them. Okay, and then while we're at it, let's go ahead, and I've picked my pattern papers that are going to go in the back of this. They're going to be just like that. So to punch the notch for this, you want to go right in between 2.5 and 2 3/8. So you just want to put it right at that kind of halfway 16th inch mark between the 2 3/8 and 2.5, and then punch that. And then that will give you the notch that'll fit right there. Okay. So we'll go ahead and do that again. So again, right in between that 2.5, 2 3/8, 2.5, I should say it in the proper way. Okay, so put this off to the side, and we'll go ahead and we're going to cover this with some pattern paper before we get going. Now, one's going to be on the left, one's going to be on the right. The sides will get covered, but we don't have to cover the middle section. So that'll make sense in just a second. But if we do this now, it's going to be a lot easier. Okay, and again, it was fun trying to kind of piece together what I had left over. The other book took quite a bit, and I didn't have even a full piece left over from that first project. So there we go. All right. So then I have little strips of pattern paper. Now these two are going to be for the outside of the mechanism, and then I've got 4 pieces that are going to be on the inside of the mechanism. So we're going to just go ahead and glue those down. These measure 5/8 wide by 3 7/8 tall, and I, just went through my scraps, and I had enough of the red, which I thought would kind of be pretty and pop up. So again, this is all on the inside of our little pocket mechanism here. I'll lay those down. I'll do the other ones. I'll be right back. I have them both covered with the pattern paper on the inside, so when this folds up, because you're going to see the inside sides the way that this is, that's why I wanted to do that. I also went ahead and put one of the pattern papers on the side here, so we're going to do the other side here. So this one will be to the left, this one's going to be to the right. These 2 pieces right here in the middle are going to join together, so we're not going to put pattern paper on those because we don't need to. This piece is going to go right here. So I'll glue that down. So you will need 2 for the outside, 4 for the inside, okay? All right, so the next thing is to attach our frames. So basically what we're going to do is we're just going to attach them right to the edge there on here. Now the one thing to be aware of when you're making this is to be sure that your tabs will not show past your frame. So if you need to make your tabs, if you need to trim them, go right ahead and do that. Okay, make sure that's right to the edge, because you don't want them to show. So check it before you glue it down just to make sure it's not going to go past where your die cut is, okay? And then we'll just fold that down and glue that down, okay? All right, so here is our frame for the inside of the card, and then our little notch for the back pocket. And you can see, isn't that cute? All right, so we'll do that again. So we're just going to glue this down right to the edge of that score. Okay, and then we'll fold that over and glue that down, okay? And again, this is going to be attached, so that's why there's no pattern paper on there, because they'll attach right in the middle. Okay, just like that. Now, I'm going to go ahead and glue these 2 pieces together. So I'm just going to put glue here. And then I'm going to fold this over. This is the middle, here's the top. And we're just going to line those 2 up. And however it's easier for you to do it, I'm going to lay this down, and then I'm going to stand it up and make sure that everything is nice and even. Use my desk to make sure that everything is flat. Okay, and you can see how when the card closes, it's going to fold up like this, and then it'll pop open. So this is really cool. All right, just make sure everything's nice and flat. Now let's add this to our card. And when I did it with the prototype, it worked really good. So we are going to Make sure that our notches are at the top because that's where the pockets are going to be. They're going to go right to the middle here. And the easiest way that I found to do it, because I really want those scores to kind of be right in the middle, and you can see how that's going to lay down. It's going to look really cool. I'm going to do one side at a time, and I'm going to just put a line of glue here and here, and then one here. This is going to be for our pocket. And then I'm going to just try and line up the scores of the card, the score of the card, to the midline of my mechanism, okay? So I've only got one gluing down right now because I want to make sure that everything is good, okay? And it closes up just fine, okay? So then I'm going to go ahead and go in and burnish. Okay, and then we're going to close it, put glue on these three sides, and close our card, and then ta-da! I love this. Now, just make sure we burnish that really well, okay? And there is our card. You guys, isn't this cool? Isn't this cool? So yeah, so I'm gonna let this sit for a minute, but it should fold nice. It's going to be a little bit puffy, and that is the nature of the card. But when you close it, look at this. Is that really not cool or what? You can put photos in here. This would be a great gift to send to mom, to grandma. I think it's really fun. So yeah, and of course you can decorate like crazy. So I'm going to set this to the side just to let it dry for a few minutes and talk about a few other things. So I did make some elements to put in the pocket. So I had some cards left over, some journaling cards. I did cut those out, and I used my corner punch that I love so much. This is my scalloped punch. I can't find it here. That I've had in my stash. So you can use any corner punch that you want. You don't even have to. You can just use a corner rounder like I did here. So I got a couple of these. So on this one here, I just left the front plain because it was pretty full, but then I used one of the stickers, that's cute little lamb on the back. So you can journal, you can put a photo. Here I added a little button here, but then I left the rest. Here is the two little 3x4 cut aparts. I just backed them on extra cardstock that I had. And then here's the funny part. Okay, so I wanted to use these tags. These are made from the album tags and accents from Heartfelt Creations that I did buy through Country Craft Creations, and I love these things. And so if you have these in your stash, I mean, this one is like my absolute favorite. I was thinking about using this one, but it was a little bit too big to do with the punch out on the card. But I did use this, and so I used some of the leftover cardstock. I had a couple pieces of pattern paper left over that were big enough. I put those on there, used the die again, and then I put the truck here. I did make some hole reinforcements, and then I had just a little bit of twine left over, so I just tied the twine through the holes. On this one here, on the back, I just added another sticker, and there's a great place for a photo here, and you can do a little journaling on there. And then on this one here, this is funny because when I cut it out, I didn't realize that down here on this edge had the branding strip still on the cardstock, and it was like the only piece that was wide enough to make two tags with. So I took my border strip that I used in the card, and I just punched out a little strip of pattern paper that I had left over, and then I put that down. And then I decided this one here I would decorate with one of the extra cut aparts because I thought this was a really good journaling card, and then added my chickens to it. So lots of room for photos and things like that. So those are going to go in the pockets. Now to make the hole reinforcements, if you haven't done this before, it's really super easy. So I use my Crop-A-Dile because I do like the 3/16 inch hole. And I took a scrap of paper and I just punched that hole. And then I took my 1/2 inch circle punch and then just went through and lined that up Tried to get that first hole in the center and then line that up and then punch. And this one is about ready to bite the dust. And that's how I made the hole reinforcements for these tags. Okay, so I did 4 total, 1 for the front, 1 for the back. And then I just used my art glitter glue and glued those on. But they're super easy to do it if you do that method. If you cut the bigger hole first, it's really hard to do the inner hole. So just punch the smaller hole first and then do your bigger hole. Makes a great hole reinforcement if you want those. Those are going to be in the pockets. Now, last thing is that I did a belly band to keep it all closed because I was trying to figure out how I was going to keep it closed. I didn't have enough ribbon to wrap around. So let me grab my scoreboard here. I got an emblem for the front, and then I've got my pieces here. So this back piece of the belly band is 7 5/8 by 2. Score it at 1/2, 3/4, 6 7/8, 7 1/8. Okay, so you'll have a 1/2 inch and then a 1/4 inch gusset on each side. Okay, second piece is 6 1/8 by 2. Do not score. Then I cut a couple pieces of pattern paper. I really like the chickens. We're going with chicken theme this time. This is 6 by 1 7/8. Okay, and that's going to cover that. And then I use this cut apart. I just trimmed it down a little bit, so it's actually 3 1/2 by 3, and that's because I needed a piece of cardstock to back it that was the right size. So you don't have to trim it if you don't want to, but I did. All right, so belly band, I'm going to miter the 1/2 inch scores. And then we're going to fold and burnish. Or yeah, we're going to fold and burnish. You guys, I am so tired. I did not sleep good last night. And I'm trying to squeak this in before I have a doctor's appointment. And, you know, there you go. I need caffeine. Okay. All right. So then I'm just going to lay that down and complete my belly bands. I'm just making sure everything's lined up nice and straight. All right. I'm going to fold that 1/2 inch over. And lay that down. Okay. All right. So essentially, we're just creating a belly band with a 1/4 inch gusset. Okay. So now that I have that on, then we just need to add our little emblem to the front here. So I'm just going to put a little glue down the middle and going to eyeball center this. Yeah, that looks pretty good. And burnish that down. And there is our belly band for our card. Okay, all done. So let's grab our card and we are going to put our little doodads in here. So we've got a tag for each side, and these should slip right in there, right behind all of that. And we'll go ahead and put that there, and that'll go right behind. And then all we need to do is decorate now. So that is basically that part of the tutorial. All right, so next thing to do is create the envelope for this project. So I will be right back and we will take care of that. So I wanted to make an envelope to house this card, and obviously I did not make this to mail, but if you wanted to, you could totally put it into another envelope and then, you know, send it in the mail. But I used artisan cardstock here, and according to my envelope maker that actually makes envelopes that you know, will have gussets for really large cards and things. So like a box envelope, I guess you could say. I use my 123 punch board because it has the 2 scores here. I cut for a card that was 6.5 by 8.5. It was the closest I was going to get to make it kind of really even. So the paper size was 11 7/8, and then you start your punching and scoring at 5 1/4. Okay. This will give about a 3/8 inch gusset to your envelope. And what I have done is make myself an envelope box spacer, and I kind of keep this in my stash here. It is 3/8 of an inch wide, and I just stacked a bunch of chipboard together till it was 3/8 of an inch, and I glued it all together, and I keep it because that way when I go to glue my envelope together, I can stick it in here. I can use it to help kind of square up the sides, and then I also have something to press on, you know, when I'm gluing. So I did have to, of course, move it around a little bit to get this edge, but it worked out great. So if I know I've mentioned this before in some other tutorials, but this is a pretty handy little thing to make. It's super quick, uses up extra chipboard, and you can have that. Now, I also put together a couple more pieces to make it a 1/2 inch. So if I had something that was a 1/2 inch that I needed to kind of get in there and do that, then I could put these 2 together, because those 2 together make a 1/2 inch. So anyways, just something to think about with your extra chipboard if you're looking to do that. So then I wanted to kind of make it so that it had a magnet closure. So I did add a magnet to this, and then what I'm going to do is add, I had 2 pieces of ribbon about this big left over. And what I'm going to do is make like a pull tab so that the recipient knows to pull that. And I'm just going to lay that here. So I laid down my magnet here. I'm going to put a little bit of tape down to secure the other end of that ribbon, okay? And then in the die cuts with this kit, we had some circle medallions. This one's a little bee. So I'm just going to glue that over the top of everything, and that'll help secure that. Might put a little bit under here. All right, that should do that. So that when that closes, then you have a nice little pull tab here, okay? And then to cover the other side of the magnet, I'm just going to use another little circle medallion that I had in the die cuts. All right, so we got the little bee up here, and then I have the little chicken here. This is supposed to be a tag, but I'm not going to punch that little hole out. I'm just going to go ahead and put that there. And then I have a little button sticker that I could put over the top of that too. So that'll kind of camouflage that. Whoop. And while I'm gluing, I punch that hole out. This is awesome. So I'm going to put a little bit of tape over there just to kind of help secure that over the button. And I'm going to put my rooster down like so over top of that magnet. Okay. And then now you can see that got funky. So I'm going to grab a little button sticker that I had. Where is it? There it is. And we'll go ahead and just kind of camouflage that by putting a little button over it. That'd be kind of cute, right? There's that little piece that came out of the tag. All right, so there is my envelope for that. So that's the project. That's how I made everything. So I know you've already seen the walkthrough at the beginning of this video. So this is my pop-up card project using the same kind of concept as the album, and it's really quite cool. So thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate it, and I will see you again soon with more tutorials and things. Stay crafty, and I will see you soon. Bye-bye.